Here we are again. Week five? Week five of the KML weekly preview. We're going to get right to it. We're going to start talking about these games. I know you're excited. I know everybody's waiting for it all week, and we're going to get right to it. So let's go to the first game. You know what the first game we're going to talk about is? The first game we're going to talk about is the White Mare. This is my White Mare. 3-1, currently sitting in third place, going up against J-Rod, the Bod Limbach. Sitting right where he belongs. He's made a home down there. He's put down some bricks. He's put down some mortar. He's got a thatch roof. That's where he just loves it down there. He's at 1-3. He's sitting in 10th place. Nothing new. He's comfortable down there. Getting into the game. The line on this one has Turo favored by 5. Very slight Turo favorite. Turo also leads the all-time record 2-1. You know, getting into the game. You know, last week Turo he beat Scott, but beating Scott is the personification of the emoji that just goes. I mean, everybody does it. It's nothing to get excited about. You just kind of took care of business and you move on to the next week and hope to have something a little more exciting to go up against. I'm a little worried about Turo's team though. Because you look it over, he's got Yeldon on bye, he's got Baldwin on bye, he's got Jimmy Graham on bye, which, unbelievable, Jimmy Graham is actually a relevant thing again. Whoever thought that was going to happen? So he's got some bye week troubles. He's really going to rely on this one, though, with the A-Rod and the Gordon, and, that Sunday Night Football game is going to be pretty important when it comes down to it, because he's got... he's got Aaron Rodgers on one side, he's got Sterling Shepard on the other. That's two big names in that Sunday Night Football game that Turo's going to be looking for them to deliver. Coming down to Jared, he lost to Vitt, but that's not really anything exciting. I mean, last week I was 3-3 in my picks, and this was actually the one of the picks I got right. I think Vitt's team could be turning around. We'll talk more about him in a second here. The big problem with Jared's team is that Seattle bye. He's got Rawls and Michael on bye. I don't even know what to make of those two guys. I mean, you might as well combine into one man and have an RB2 tops. He's also got Macklin on bye, which could be a little bit of an issue, but again, we're not talking about a bona fide wide receiver one there, so maybe he can cope with it. He's going to go into this week with his two-headed monster again of Coleman and Freeman. I still hate that fucking thing. I really do. I hate that Coleman-Freeman two-headed monster. I think that's so stupid. But he seems to enjoy it. He's going to try to trade him to me next week. I'm sure I'll get a text message probably around Wednesday morning, asking if I want either one of them. I wouldn't touch either one, but hey, whatever he wants to do. He's also got Gronk. He's got Ryan on there. Looking at his team, though, I don't like his team this week. I don't like his chances. He's got all these Atlanta guys. He's got Matt Ryan and the Coleman twins. Going up against Denver defense, which isn't good for anybody. That's almost might as well put him on a bye at that point. So I really don't like it. It's this matchup might come down to his kicker on Monday Night Football. He's got Gano going on Monday Night Football, so I'd love to see him hoping for field goals come Monday night. But quite honestly, I don't even think it's going to be that fucking close. I think Turo wins this matchup by at least 20 points. Better luck to J-Rod next week when he's probably in the Keg Watch game, but... who knows? Maybe he wants to go for more ice cream with Finley or something. So, next. The next game I want to talk about is Bubblegum by the Bum. Sitting there in 8th place at 2-2, going up against Revenge of the Scurv. Sitting there in 4th place, but also 2-2. The league is very interesting right now because we have a lot of parity in it. There's a lot of teams sitting there at 2-2, 3-1, 1-3. Really no separation. I mean, you got to remember, last place, Scott, is separated from first place by only 2 games. You can make that up in 2 weeks. I'm very good at math. I think you are too. That's how you can figure that shit out. Back to the game. The line on this one has Minot favored pretty heavily. About double-digit favorite. In this one, all-time record, with Moto being the expansion team. There's not a lot of history here. Might not beat him last year, though, 1-0. So Moto's going to try to even that up. Starting off with Moto team here. He lost to Bill badly. And Bill made some good trades. Finally paid off for him. There was really nothing Moto could do. His mind was elsewhere. By the way, quick congratulations to Moto. Your dick works. You made it, baby. It came out 10 fingers, 10 toes. Can't ask for anything more than that. Now you just got to feed that motherfucker protein shakes to get him back to the NFL, where he belongs. Too bad we don't play fancy offensive linemen. Bonus points for how gay they are. Beside the point. Moto's team, he's got Snead and Wilson on bye this week. That Seattle bye is going to play a part because with Wilson on bye, he has to play Tyrod Taylor, which is a borderline drop, and he might as well pick up Alex Smith, Simeon, Hoyer, you name it. He might as well pick them up because I don't think Taylor outscores any of those motherfuckers this week. He's also... It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting for him this week because, like I mentioned, he's starting Tyrod, but he's got real problems on the offensive side of the ball. He's got Latavius Murray, who has totally underwhelmed this year. He's got Odell Beckham Jr., who is having his heavy flow period and his wide-set vagina right now. Hasn't been able to clear that shit up with any sort of tampon or maxi pad. I don't even, I'm almost, I almost was going to trade for him. I'll be honest. I don't think Moto's head was in it. I thought I might be able to steal OBJ. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but we'll see what happens with that in the coming week. If he has another stinker, I imagine the trade offers will be flying, and maybe Moto will want to start making a move on that one. As for the timing on this, that Arizona game on Thursday night is going to be interesting. This is an interesting matchup for several reasons. I'm going to hold off on that. We're going to get into that in a second. Minot's team lost to Maine, had the second highest points in the league last week, and still lost. Tough pill to swallow, but I think it's the second time it's happened this year. I like his team. I think his team's playing pretty well. The only person he has on bye right now is Charles, and quite honestly, that's probably the best thing for Charles, to get an extra week of rest because he is not himself yet. I just like the matchups Minot has here. I mean, he's got Roethlisberger and Bell. The Pittsburgh is so friggin' hot, you can't even touch him. He's still got Fritz and Kelvin. Kelvin's been a little underwhelming, but this goes back to that. This goes back to that timing here because that Thursday night game is going to be interesting. Where we got Moto's got David Johnson going up against Fitz for Minot, and we'll see how that shakes out because you'll have kind of like an early idea about how the team's shaping up if one extends the lead or not, and then it's going to come back down to on Monday Night Football. We're going to have Kelvin Benjamin from Minot going against the Carolina defense that Moto has. So it's going to be there's two interesting matchups. The positions that don't usually go head to head here, but it should be an interesting one to watch out. I almost made this game the game of the week, to be honest with you, but I'm excited to see this one. As for my pick, I'm picking Minot. I mean, he's just too much of a favorite. He's got lucky on the bye week. He's going to be almost at 100% going into this thing, and I don't think Moto has made the good enough moves until Odell Beckham gets his shit together and Latavius Murray gets his shit together. I don't think I can pick his team. I just think Minot takes this one to the bank. Boy, I need another drink after that one. Let's roll the tape. Let's get to the next game. The next game that I would like to talk about with you is the Reading Dwayne Bowe sitting on there at 5th place at a cool 2-2 going up against the Chalupa Batman at 1-3, sitting there in 11th place. He got himself out of the basement. He got his first win last week, made some trades. They worked out. Proud of the man. Let's move on. Bill is favored in this game by about 4 or 5 points, whoever you ask. Vegas books have a little bit different line here, but either way, he's favored. Rogers, however, holds the all-time record edge 2-1, so Bill's going to look to even that up this week. Getting into the game, the first team is Rogers' team. He lost to Wingus last week. Wingus put on a little bit of a show, showed some life, and Rogers ate shit. No big deal. It happens to the best of us from time to time. He's got the thing that worries me about Rogers' team this week is that New Orleans bye. That's Breeze and Ingram. That's what his 1A and 1B on that fucking team. Sitting on the sidelines, watching Sunday. They might go visit Peyton. Who knows? So that's going to be tough for him. Also, the one thing you don't want to, the words you don't want to hear is that you are relying on Cameron's Art and Payne on Monday night. Cameron, Artist, Payne on Monday night. That is not a phrase you want to have to hear and rely on your team. Enough about Rogers, on to Bill. Bill beat Moto. put a smile on my face. I love it. Couldn't have been happier about it. Made some good trades. Got that needed W. Had a 3-game skid to start. Now he's trending in the right direction. Got it back to 1-3 out of the basement. I don't think he's on keg watch anymore. You watch Bill's team. He might go on a run here. He wins this week. He wins next week. That's 3-3. That's a whole new ball game. He's right back in the hunt with the parity in the league this year. And it comes down to this. He's got nobody on bye. He is at full strength in week 5, and he has Greg Olsen on Monday Night Football. As far as my pick, I think you already know where I'm headed with this one. I'm picking Bill. I just like the matchups better. I like that he's got nobody on bye. I like how hot his team is. I like Greg Olsen. I like John Deere riding lawnmowers. All these things all point in Bill's favor. I'm picking Bill. I'm also getting a little tipsy. Next. This game is one that's near and dear to my heart. It's, of course, the Buddy Van Doodles sitting there in 9th place at 2-2, going against the K-Bo Ghosts. Where are they at? First place. What's their record? 3-1. They would be 4-0 if Julio Jones had spread out a little bit of his production across more than one friggin' week. But beside the point, the cream has risen to the top. The K-Bo Ghosts are where they belong, sitting atop the standings of this stupid fucking league, the KML. They dominate this shit. They won last week. We're going to get into that in a second. First, I want to talk about Wingus' team. Wingus, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm so excited to talk about this game, I'm getting ahead of myself. The line favors the KBGs by about a solid 10 points, right around double digits, a little bit lower. Doesn't matter. Strong favorite in that respect. Also, the KBGs hold the all-time record in this one, 3-1. So they've been here before. They know how to beat this team. Not much of a rivalry when only one. It's like, whatever. Anyway, the Buddy Van Doodles, they beat Rogers last week, as I just mentioned. Good win for the Buddy Van Doodles. Got to be happy about that. Gets them back on track a little bit. As far as the bye weeks, he's got Kelsey and Hearns on bye. A little bit of a loss, a little bit not. Both those guys have underperformed, so he's still. I'm assuming his team's at full strength, as far as I'm concerned. As far as the timing goes, he's got Hyde on Thursday Night Football. Other than that, in this matchup, everybody's done early. He's got Hyde on Thursday Night Football. The KBGs, they have John Brown going on Thursday Night Football, so. But nobody in Sunday Night Football, nobody in Monday Night Football. This game's over by about 7:30 p.m. We're going to know who wins, who loses, before we even hit the new week. So it's gonna go pretty quick. As far as the KBGs, they kicked the shit out of Minot last week. That's a lie. They barely beat Minot last week in a matchup of last year's championship game. Felt to get a little bit of vindication there, but did not result in any money. So really, who cares at this point? But still. Maybe with a little bit of revenge game on that one. They came out fired up for that one. They got Allen Robinson on bye. For a normal team, this would be a shitty thing because Allen Robinson's a wide receiver 1, usually the best team on a team, best wide receiver on a team. But however, in this case, who the fuck cares? Because he's got 2 other wide receiver 1s sitting there in the backup. Allen Robinson's a flex. I don't even really know how much of a downgrade it is by having John Brown in there over Allen Robinson. It's just next man up over there. Every time a wide receiver 1 goes down, another wide receiver 1 pops up to take his place. Again, I mentioned this. He's got Brown going early. He's got a pretty strong schedule all over. Only Allen Robinson on bye. He should be just about full strength. And most importantly, this is the week. Unlucky Wingus, this is the week Mad Brady gets to come back and play the game that he loves, the game that God put him on this earth to play. The best quarterback in the NFL finally comes back from suspension. And whose team does he happen to be on? It's the KBGs going against the BVDs. However, when it comes to my pick, I'm going contrarian. Because I don't think there's any way Wingus doesn't put his name on the trophy this year. I've been saying it since we even drafted. I continue to stick my guns on this one. I think he is going to get it done. I think he dethrones the KBGs this week. And I think the Buddy Van Doodles get it done to move to 3-2, be near the top of the leaderboard, and be carrying some good momentum into week 6. What's next? You know what sucks? having to talk about this next game. That's what sucks. This is the Keg Watch Game of the Week for Week 5. And of course, I'm talking about Go Cubs and shit. Ooh, big name. Ooh, and a side note on this, go take a look at Go Cubs and shit's icon. If anybody figures out what the hell that even has to do with anything, please let me know. Email us at the show, because I'm still trying to figure it out. He's in dead last place at 1-3, right where he belongs. He's going up against the I Lost to Vit, sitting in 7th place at a solid 2-2, just like majority of the teams in this league. And honestly, Rob is getting dragged into this Keg Watch game by necessity. It's got nothing to do with Rob. It's all about Scott in this one. His team is horrible. The line on this one is a heavy favorite towards Rob by 10 points. The biggest surprise in this whole matchup is that Scott actually leads the all-time series between these two, 2-1. He's actually beat Rob twice. I don't have any idea how the hell that happened. But, looking at the teams, first to Scott, he lost to Turo last week. Turo's got a good team, but still, a loss is a loss. As far as the bye weeks, that Seattle bye is going to kill him a little bit. He's got Seattle defense, which is one of his best players, unfortunately. He's on bye, so that's kind of an issue for him. The only person he has on Sunday Night Football is the Packers. He's going to start the Packers D in their place, which I don't even know if that's a good thing to do going up against New York Football Giants. But that's what he's doing. So it's going to be over early in this one. As for Rob, he beat Joel. Joel talked all sorts of shit about how he was the greatest of all time, how he was up on where he belonged, how he's just picking diamonds out of his ass everywhere he looked. And finally, Rob, I was wrong last week. I didn't pick him to win, but Rob humbled Joel a little bit, got him down to where he belongs. It was a nice play. It was a nice week out of Rob. I was happy to see him rebound after losing to Vitali. He's got Bortles and Ivory on bye. Meh is my best analysis. If I want to give a one-word analysis on that one, it's meh. It could actually work out better having those guys on bye and not being forced to play them. I actually like Rob here. I do, because well, first off, he's playing Scott. But regardless of playing Scott, he's got Carson Wentz, which, is the boy wonder. He can't be touched. I hate to admit it, but he can't be touched right now. He just looks phenomenal. He's got Nelson and Lacey going on Saturday Night Football. So even if this matchup comes down to Saturday Night Football, which I believe it's over before it even gets that far, it's going to be Lacey and Nelson for Rob going against the Packers defense. I think that's an easy choice. I think Rob's going to beat that matchup right there by at least 15, 20 points. So I like Rob in this one. I think that's the easiest pick of the week. You can lock it in, put your life savings over there in Vegas, and put it in the books, because Rob, there's no way he loses this week. Scott's going to 1-4. What does he even buy? What does he even afford for a keg? I don't even know what he buys for a keg. Schlitz, probably. Some shit like that. So let's get to the game of the week and get back excited where we belong. In one of the most surprising developments that we have seen here on the KML Weekly Preview, it brings us to the KML Game of the Week. And let me tell you, this is a surprise. The KML Game of the Week, the gut dub, is Vitali's squad at 2-2, sitting in 6th place, going up against She Duked on My Johnson at 3-1 and sitting in 2nd place. These are two teams that in the first 4 weeks accounted for 3 of the Keg Watch games, and here we are in the gut dub. That just goes to show you, you're never out of it. Especially early season, you can turn things around, you can get hot, rattle off a couple wins, and here we are with these two teams in the gut dub. Vitali, for the record, went from the Keg Watch game to the gut dub game in 1 week. We've never seen that before here at the KML Weekly Preview. As far as this game goes, we got Vitali heavily favored by about double digits on this one. Also, Vitali leads the all-time series 2-0. Joel searching for his first win against Vitali. Another reason this is on the gut dub game. Vitali's team, just hot as hot can be. Rattled off 2 straight victories after what looked to be an 0-2 start. Well, was an 0-2 start, but looked to be dire. Like he was going to be in the keg the whole fucking year. Nope. Rouse off 2 wins. He's back in the thick of things. 1 game off the pace. He beat J-Rod last week. Again, nothing to say about that. Just beat Jared. And it's like kissing your sister, I guess. It happens and you move on. Oh, I mean, Jared's kissing your cousin. He's only got a couple people on bye. He's got Colby Fleener on bye. Fleener finally showed a little bit of life, showed what he should be, what he could be a couple weeks ago last week. But, he's on bye, so he's got to sit it down with New Orleans. The biggest thing for Vitali is Cam going to play? His team's a little bit banged up, but really all those injuries, Alshon Jeffrey, everybody else, it's going to come down to Cam playing on Monday night. And this is going to be interesting for Vitali because, he's going to have no quarterback options if he decides to play Cam Monday night. So he is praying that he gets a clear picture and a clear answer if Cam's going to be in or Cam's going to be out. Because the worst case scenario for Vitali is that he goes through Sunday with no clear answer, everybody plays, and then we're down to this Monday night game, and he's got to rely on Cam, and then, an hour before game time, during the day, whatever, they rule Cam out because he didn't make it out of concussion protocol, and all of a sudden he's stuck with nobody. I don't even know who Carolina's backup is. Derek Anderson or something? If it's Derek Anderson, Joel, I'm talking to you here. Joel, go out and go claim Derek Anderson right now to protect yourself in case Cam can't go. That keeps Vitt from being able to pick up Derek Anderson, throw him in there, and actually get a couple points that squeak out 10 points that he wouldn't have gotten otherwise. That might be the difference between a winner or a loss. Okay, I'm just telling you right now, on air. Speaking of Joel and Joel's team, Joel lost to Rob last week, got humbled, was talking a bunch of shit, sending a bunch of emojis, finally got his due, his little comeuppance, knocked him down to earth, back to the pack. He's sitting at 3-1. He's in second place. Still great, still looking pretty good, but shouldn't have been talking all that shit. That's what you get. The only person he has on bye is Cooks. It's kind of a hit. I can't, honestly, I look through Joel's team, I can't tell who's the best receiver and who's the worst receiver. All those guys seem to be out the middle. Evans, I like Evans the most, probably. Well, definitely, I like Evans the most. But those other guys, that Decker, Cooks, whoever the hell he's got that kind of range, Fitzgerald, or no, he's not, I don't know who the fuck he's got. Anyway, that range, I'm just not very thrilled by. It's an interesting week for Joel because he's got Lamar Miller, his RB1, going against. They're going against Minnesota, who just shuts everybody down. Minnesota, the fucking purple people eaters, they shut everybody down, so you can't feel good about Miller going against Minnesota. He's got Howard going against the Colts, which is going to be the biggest. What does he do? How does he root? I would like to see Joel root on Sunday for Jordan Howard versus the Colts. It's a conflicted man. It's a conflicted man right there, and I'd like to see how he handles it mentally. He does have Evans on Monday Night Football, but quite honestly, I think this entire matchup comes down to if Cam plays or not. If Cam doesn't play, I like Joel. If Cam plays, I like Vitt. And at this point, I think Cam plays. And therefore I'm going to pick Vitt to win this gut dub. This is the Keg Watch game of the week going to the gut dub game of the week, and I'm picking Vitt to win this matchup, assuming Cam plays, just because I think he's a gamer. I think after all the shit he's already taken, I don't see how they could possibly keep him out. I think they clear him. I think he's in there the game on Monday Night Football, and I think he outscores Evans by a healthy margin. So I like Vitali in this matchup. I'm locking it in. On that note, that concludes the Week 5 KML Weekly Preview. Thanks for tuning in. We'll continue working over here, try to make it better. We'll get back on the calls next week, get another caller coming in here, and we'll see what happens on Week 6. Best of luck to everybody this week. Stay healthy out there. Stay safe. And send your questions and comments to the email address that you have on file for myself, I guess. And I think it's time to end it. I'm going to go drink a lot of beer because I'm not working tomorrow and probably not Friday, but we'll see what happens. Out!